Welcome to Montana. This is Hill County, right up on the Canadian border, and we've been coming here for 3 years to help find and recover dinosaur fossils. The place we're looking is a coulee, or deep ravine, that is an offshoot of the Milk River. This coulee exposes many millions of years of geologic activity, and we're most interested in the Judith River Formation, which was formed between 79 and 75.3 million years ago. The walls of the coulee are steep and varied, from soft mudstone to harder concretions and sandstones. And many different dinosaur species lived here over the years, from carnivorous theropods to vegetarians like hadrosaurs. There were also plenty of other animals here: turtles, crocodilians, fish, and even some small mammals. The expedition is organized by Dr. Holly Ballard, a professor of paleontology at the Oklahoma State University. And our hosts for the dig are Dan and Lila Redding, who are dry wheat farmers that are also passionate about dinosaurs and paleontology. They run the local museum in Rudyard with many excellent displays. And they're great hosts. We take advantage of their hospitality to get shelter from the wind, fresh water, and have a relaxing place to unwind at the end of the day. Every morning, we assemble and prepare to head out to the field. We each pack a lunch, snacks, and at least 3 liters of water per person. We'll be out in the field all day, so being properly equipped is vital. You'll want some basic tools like a rock hammer, chisels, and brushes, as well as gloves and layers of clothing to be able to handle all of the weather that Montana may throw at us. When everyone is ready, we load up and head out to the field, which is usually only 5 to 10 minutes away. Out in the field, you're generally doing one of 2 things. You're prospecting or digging. Prospecting is simply just wandering around and looking for interesting things. It might be small things like teeth or individual bones, or it might be bigger things that require more investigation and excavation. When you're prospecting, you're typically in a smaller group of 2 to 3 people exploring different parts of the coulee, and this might involve going up and down fairly steep sections of the coulee walls, or exploring the basin at the bottom and looking up to see what interesting things are sticking out of the sides of the coulee. This might also involve encountering some of the local wildlife that live in the coulee, such as rattlesnakes and deer, and also the domesticated cow that are there pasturing. As you find interesting things, if they're small, you might just prepare them and preserve them and excavate them and carry them out yourselves. But if they're bigger, you might get on the radio and reach out to one of the leaders of the expedition to let them know what you found and ask them if that's interesting. They may come by and take a look, or they may ask you to take pictures and review it later on. It's important to keep in mind that often it takes much, much more time to get something out of the ground than it is to find it in the ground. And so often you'll have to pick and choose which things you decide to go excavate and explore versus spending more time digging up the things we already know about. As I mentioned, it can take a lot of effort to get even a medium-sized dinosaur fossil out of the ground. And one of the more interesting and bigger digs we had this year was a partially articulated skeleton of a larger dinosaur. Included a rib cage and a scapula and some of the other bones as well. And as you can see, we literally moved a mountain to get this out, and it took many weeks to get it fully excavated and jacketed and prepared to be able to get up to the ridge of the coulee so that we can transport it back to a museum for further processing. It's difficult to overstate exactly how much rock you have to move to get a fossil like this out of the ground. And what we saw over the week or two was huge amounts of rock being moved, initially with large tools like pickaxes and shovels, and then as we got closer in, we were working with smaller tools like rock hammers and chisels, because the last thing you want to do is put a pickaxe through a many million-year-old dinosaur fossil. And as we continued our excavation, we saw more and more interesting things, including theropod teeth that were nearby. Were they associated? We don't know, but we kept them and preserved them as part of that fossil collection. And in addition to the high daytime temperatures, we also had to contend with the threat of rain in the evenings. And that meant that we had to plan for proper drainage and cover what we've uncovered during the day to protect it from rain and wind, adding another element of challenge to getting this very large fossil out of the ground intact.